The following is an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.
All right, Coach, just how excited are you and how excited is the team about starting this 2016 season?
Oh, man, I think we're extremely excited. It's been a long off-season. Camp has been really good for us. I think we've done a great job of developing some of our team chemistry. So, the guys are ready to hit someone else right about now.
What were some of the biggest areas that you tried to work on in camp? And if you had to kind of do a scouting report on where you're at right now, what kind of grade would you give yourselves?
I think, we're a B right now. There's always room for improvement, and that's what we're trying to constantly work on each day. Over the camp and, things that we worked on, a lot of situational football. There were some times last year that we didn't come through in certain situations on third down or with the game being on the line. So we really trying to focus on that over the course of camp and also in the offseason.
It's an exciting time of year regardless of who you're playing, but to open up against a crosstown team like Duke from the ACC, just to dangle that carrot in front of your guys, how much more juice does that add to it?
Oh, a lot. Some of these guys, they've played with some of these young men all through the course of their career. They've got a chance to see these guys on television. Some of them go over to Duke campus. Sometimes guys come over to our campus. So they it's like a rivalry within a rivalry, so to speak, because the guys know one another.
I know you said you guys been watching Duke tape all summer, but I imagine that tape had Sept as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a new quarterback. Does that throw you guys game plan off much, or does it change much?
I really don't think so. I think one thing about Coach Cutcliffe and his staff and what they've been able to do is they got a system, and they want to run their system, and they want to execute their system to the best of their ability, no matter who's in. Obviously, any situation with any coach, you're going to tweak some things, but I think, we got a chance to watch Daniel from high school, and we read a lot of things about him, and, he's a really, really extraordinary athlete.
Tim being a freshman, you have 6 seniors or juniors in your front 7. The advantage with seeing the play you guys had, you can kind of confuse them and throw some different things in a little bit.
We hope so. We got some experience, we got some depth at certain spots, but the key is we still got to go out there and execute, and we got to make sure that our game plan and things that we have planned for that week is airtight.
You were talking about the rivalry. Just how much fun is it for Durham and the city to watch you guys play and against each other?
I think it speaks a lot for our community, especially, with things that the world is going through now. Anytime you get a chance for 2 teams, 2 programs that, not more than probably 5 miles from one another to go against one another and do some great things for not only just Durham, but for the entire state of North Carolina.
Though, Coach, this is a non-conference game, but you're playing, Duke from the ACC. Do you worry about injuries when it comes to a game, like this?
Well, I think you have injuries when, guys go out there and be half-hearted. I think when you get 2 grown men or 2 opponents going at full speed, I think a lot of times what happens is you get that stalemate effect. So as long as our guys go out there and they're not timid and they're not second-guess themselves, I don't foresee any injuries. A lot of times the injuries that we had last year, to be honest with you, were injuries where there was no one around. So we just got to make sure that we take care and control what we can control.
Coach, speaking of injuries, talk about the recuperation of some of the guys that missed last year a great deal of time, especially after Game 3.
Mike Jones did a great job of rehabbing and recovering from his ankle injury last year, and he's back to 100%. It looks like $1 million, as I say all the time. Also, too, Khalil Stinson. He was a young man that broke his hip last year. He's been extraordinary. He's done a great job recovering as well. He's been full go throughout the entire camp for us. And Quentin Atkinson was another young man after the first game. He did not return for the rest of the season, but he's recovered 100% for that injury, and he's been good to go as well.
Is Des going to be available? Desmond Cooper, so he's not on 2D. He's going to be available.
Desmond will not be available for the first 2 games, but after that he will be.
Talk about Nick. I see Nick's built into his spot. Coach Ellis told me last week Nick played very well on the offensive line. Just kind of talk about him throwing him into the fire for that first game.
Yeah, I've got a lot of great things to say about Nick. I do think he's a rising star for our football team and in his conference. He's a young man that can play anywhere across the board. Probably could have played last year for us as a true freshman, but we decided we were able to redshirt him, and he's grown a lot. He's put on weight, dropped his body fat, and he got stronger and things like that. So we're really excited about his development. I think he's one of the future stars up front for us.
You guys have played over there before. They played at ECU a couple of years ago, so I imagine by now, especially a veteran, they don't get awestruck by the state record like that.
No, I don't think so. I think if anything, we become motivated. Get a chance to play in an arena like that, and in front of our fans, in front of a lot of home, basically almost like a home game in some aspect. But the biggest thing is those guys get a chance to go out there, and they don't shy down from the limelight. That's one thing that we do know about our team that over the last couple of years.
Coach, could you talk about the development of your offense, especially Malcolm Bell? And I know you got a couple of guys that are injured or sitting out playing. How have they come into the offensive scheme of things?
They've been doing great. Malcolm Bell has really grown as a passer. When we first arrived on campus, there were some things that we had to clean up with him mechanically and technically. He's really grown within the system. I think last year, the biggest thing for him was he didn't have some of the tools around him that allow him to be as successful as I thought he could have been. But I think now with those guys returning and with the addition of some new guys, I think Malcolm Bell has really kind of came into his own. He's really playing at a high level right now. And also, too, just with some of the other pieces of the puzzle, like a Darrell McClain and a Torrey Cotton, those young guys at the running back position, they would relieve some of the pressure off Malcolm as well.
Will we see a lot of Totten and Cotton at young combination running backs this year?
Well, I think Cotton for sure. I think right now the next guy behind those guys is Ramon Simpson, is a young man that played for us last year as Darrell McClain's backup. But I think that's a three-headed monster, really a four-headed monster when you really think about it, with the things that Malcolm Bell can do with his legs as well.
What did Cotton show you this fall to kind of jump Ramon? Ramon had a good spring game.
Well, I think they really to me, they're A, 2B. To be honest with you, I think on the depth chart, yes, it's listed as Torrey. I think the thing that Torrey asked that Ramon maybe doesn't have as much is just that big playability. He's a home run threat. He's got great top end speed, and he does some great things. But Ramon as well, he's a great blocker, and he's a great third down back for us.
It's called Rudolph is pressing on
We will find out today. He sees the doctor before we go out to practice today.
Coach, who do you look at as your defensive leaders?
I think Mike Jones has really grown into their role as one of our defensive leaders, one of the voices on that back end that people look to. A young man that has really had a great fall camp and did a great job in the offseason. He had surgery and did a great job rehabbing is Devontae Reynolds. He showed up a lot for us in camp. He was a second-team preseason All-Selection on the defense side of the ball in the MEAC. I think LeGrand Harley is another young man that I think people need to watch out for. He's going on his last year playing college football, and I think he has a lot to prove. He's playing at a high level right now. And up front, I think Darius Sproul and Antonio Brown, those two young men are really playing extremely good football for us.
Does Harley give you that added advantage having transferred from a D1 school or bigger school, to come to North Carolina Central? Doesn't get maybe as excited about some things, gives you that maturity that you'd like to have?
He does. LeGrand is an older young man. He has a family. So he adds that maturity level to our group. If someone does get a little starstruck out there, LeGrand's been in that situation before. He has that maturity level. He can calm that group down, especially playing Mike linebacker, kind of controlling the defense out there.
A lot of times in the ACC MEAC type games, the difference is in the trenches. Like skill guys probably match up equally. Your defensive line, 2 seniors, 2 redshirt juniors, pretty much 4 seniors. Tell me how much you be able to lean on that group and how to compete against the Duke offensive line.
We're going to desperately need them, not for just this game, but just to carry us throughout the season. We've said numerous number of times that we feel like our front four or 5 guys up front in the rotation, that's probably the strength of our defense right now. They got a lot of the experience. They can take some pressure off the back end where they may not have to hold people as long. So we really need those guys up front to play at a high level, not just this game, but for the entire season.
Could you talk for a second about your development of your special teams?
Done a great job right now. Levante Smith is a young man who returned 2 touchdowns for punt last year. He was a preseason all-conference selection. He's done an extraordinary job. We added a young man by the name of Demario Evans, transfer corner for us. He'll be returning kicks for us as well back there with Levante's. I think Nathaniel Tilkey is our punter. He's going into his 3rd year as our starting punter. As long as I've been here, I don't know any other punter because he's been the punter since I walked in the door. And, he has just grown and continued to get better and better each year. So we're really excited about his development and his growth. And Brandon McLaurin, who's taking care of our place-kicking duties and our kickoff duties, he's had a tremendous camp as well. So we're looking forward. We got some experience at those positions. We hired a new special teams coordinator in Chris Schultz. He's done and he's basically, we handed the baton to him, and he's taken off full speed. So we're excited about that group.
This is obviously not your first go-around against a quote-unquote big boy. What have you learned from those previous matchups that you can apply this year?
I think it's very, very small mistakes that you can make. That's the biggest thing. Attention to detail is going to be very, very important when we play a team like Duke. They're a high caliber football team. They play extremely detailed, extremely disciplined, and physical brand of football. So the margin of error is not very, very big.
Can you tell me a little about Nick protecting you blindside and a new face over there at left tackle?
He's been playing good throughout camp. He shows flashes at times that he can get the job done. So I have my trust in him.
What's his strength?
Just playing with high intensity and energy, and he's smart. When he does the right thing, good things happen.
Malcolm, can you just talk about just first game of the season? You're playing Duke. Just how excited you are to get this season going here?
Well, I'm just ready to get things rolling again. Last year we didn't come out too good, so hopefully, we get some stuff going early and finish the game.
What can you learn from what happened last year that you can take into this year's game?
Basically, just being more efficient on third down, just knowing, where they bring blitzes from, and, just being able to recognize everything that they bring at us.
How much do you like getting the chance to play an ACC team, and the fact that they're a Durham team too?
It's always good to play ACC school. Of course, we play in the MEAC, so it's always great to have, bigger competition. It's great for scouts to come look at you and evaluate you on guys that are playing at the next level.
You guys still, you played there a couple times. You played ECU a few years ago. What do you tell the young guys about walking into a big stadium like that first game of the season?
Basically, you just have to grow up really fast. You're going to have jitters just like everyone else. But, when that first hit comes, you're pretty tuned into the game.
Do you remember your had to grow up fast moment in a big game like that?
Yeah, Duke, my redshirt freshman year, they threw me in the fire. It was something new I've never seen before. That was my first game ever playing in college. So, I just had to get adjusted quick. And after that, I was pretty good. I was fine.
A couple quarters, a couple plays, how long did it take?
A couple plays, really. They hit hard. So, yeah.
Regardless of the outcome, how has your team done as far as not putting too much pressure on this game? In other words, it's not going to make or break your season. How has the team done as far as that mindset?
We really don't have that mindset this year. We're treating this game just like any other game, just so we can get a feel. If we play good to this competition, then just imagine what will happen in the MEAC. So, we just want to go out and fire on all cylinders and see what happens.
Do you think from a talent standpoint, you guys can go toe-to-toe with them at a lot of positions?
Yeah, we should, even in the trenches. I mean, we have a couple new guys, but at the same time, I think we can get the job done with the guys that we have now.
When you watch the tape on Duke and their defense, what do you see? What stands out?
Cash is not there. That's really a big thing. He was really active last year, and in film before we played him, he was very active. So, we're expecting them to have replacements and guys that are, going to be able to fill that role. But, at the same time, he was an exceptional player last year. So, we just, we're expecting anything.
Any particular areas that you can attack? You think, the linebackers are fresh and new, or young cornerbacks and things like that?
They have a lot of new players this year, so, we haven't really seen exactly who the player is on film. We just know where they should be or where they might line up. So, after the first couple snaps or, a drive or two, we'll know exactly how they play.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.